All right, who here had a role in doing this? Yeah. I mean, this has been a community activity, hasn't it? I'm happy for the people of Detroit, our neighbors in Dearborn, certainly thankful to Dave Egner and the Wilson Foundation and all the folks who helped out. But mostly, I'm happy from the folks from the Midwest neighborhood. Rouge and Long, I started in 2013. You were supportive when I first ran. You were supportive every time, and I kept saying, we're going to make a difference. We're going to make a difference. You're not forgotten. Did you ever think you'd see something like this in this neighborhood? But that's what this neighborhood deserves. You stuck when other people were leaving, and you deserve one of the great recreation centers. Give all the folks who stayed with us in Midwest a hand. So Brad, Dick, and the team who did such a great job, but the folks who were here know that just a few years ago, you were looking at abandoned railway line, a lot of debris. We have pulled, I'm not exaggerating, 23,000 abandoned tires out of that stretch. It was the prime dumping ground for this city. And when I started using 4 years ago the phrase blight to beauty, I first started using it, people were laughing. Nobody's laughing anymore. And there's no greater example than this. And so for the neighborhood committee who went down to Atlanta, who came back with a really high expectation of what they wanted and didn't settle for anything less. The Joe Louis family here, I hope you're happy with how this turned out. Rochelle Riley, when she was a writer at the Free Press, wrote a column that says Joe Louis Arena is coming down. This city has to do something. And we sat with the family, and I said, I have this idea for this greenway. And they talked about it as a family and came back and they said, we realize buildings are temporary, but greenways are forever. And I hope you're going to love the appropriate recognition of what Joe Louis meant to the city and still means to this city. It's a really special day. But the interesting thing is, you've got cities in this country where the mayors and council fight with each other and take pride in those fights. But while some of the council members and I have disagreements, we sit down and talk to each other and we work them out. And we come out publicly together, and from day one, City Council has been 100% behind the Joe Louis Greenway. We started talking about $150 million you're spending where there's a railroad. A lot of folks would have said, what are you talking about? Council has been supportive right from the beginning, and one of your biggest champions is here. Please welcome Council Member Gabriela Santiago Romero.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I am so excited. As has been mentioned, my name is Gabriela Santiago Romero. I am your proud District 6 City Council member here in the beautiful city of Detroit. I am excited. I'm not sure if you can tell. I am thrilled to be here at the official opening of what is the first trailhead of the Joe Louis Greenway, the Warren Gateway, which features a new 4-acre park just east of Lanyo with a signature playscape, pavilion, fitness equipment, green infrastructure, and accessible parking. It's incredible, and it helps meet a very long-time community need. I grew up just on the other side of Warren on Tarno and McGraw. My childhood home is there. I am proud to see this development and excited to say that I'm working with the administration to bring another $1 million to Warren Avenue for developments. We need a safe street to welcome us all here to the Greenway, and I'm excited to be doing that work along with the administration. Upon completion, the Joe Louis Greenway will be a 27.5-mile pathway for residents to enjoy. It will not just connect Detroit's neighborhoods, but it'll also connect Highland Park, Hamtramck, and Dearborn. And it'll bring us all to the best riverfront in America 3 times in a row, the Detroit riverfront. We applaud you and appreciate that the Greenway promotes recreation, healthy living, and most importantly, that it brings us together to appreciate art, programming, and entrepreneurship opportunities. Greenways like these are a shared asset. And while segments will be tailored to prospective communities, we will all be able to enjoy this together. By virtue of connecting all 4 cities, we are connecting distinct neighborhoods and our diverse communities. As a social worker and as an organizer, nothing brings me more joy. Thank you to the Rolf C. Wilson Jr. Foundation for providing vital resources and funds for the project. Thank you to the Joe Louis Greenway team. Shout out Hanan from Southwest Detroit. And the General Services Department for your hard work and management of this project. We see you, and you are appreciated. Last but certainly not least, I want to send my deep, deep gratitude to our very own Rashawn Long, who is a member of the Joe Louis Greenway Advisory Council, who has been advocating for this from the very beginning. Thank you so much. The partnerships and investments that are being used to make this project a reality are essential to creating vibrant, thriving communities for everyone. Thank you all so much. I'm ready to go down that slide with you all. I'm excited to cut this ribbon. Before I wrap up, I will now bring in my colleague, Member Durhal, right next door to us in District 7, Member Durhal.
Thank you. I hate going after her, I really do, particularly in Southwest Detroit. Good afternoon to everyone. We are here on a wonderful, wonderful occasion. I am Councilmember Fred Durhal, your neighbor in District 7. And what is important about this Greenway, just as you see the connection between us as council members and us as in the mayor, is that it connects communities together. Detroit has tremendous communities, great community leaders, great residents, and this Greenway is going to be something that is going to be fabulous for our residents, for our children, connecting our communities, taking them all the way downtown. We hear about downtown sometimes and folks say, what about our neighborhoods? This is what's happening in our neighborhoods to connect us to downtown. So I am happy to be here today. I have to give a special shout out to Rushan as well. I don't represent her on the council, but represented her and many of you as a state representative in this area. But now you are in great hands with Councilmember Santiago Romero and the entire council. We support great projects like this. Thank you to the mayor's office, Joe Louis Greenway Partnership, honoring the memory of one of the greatest. So God bless you all. And I am not going down the slide, but I am going to watch Councilmember Santiago Romero do the same. God bless you all. Thank you.
Oh, you're going to go down that slide with me. You're going to go behind me. If I get stuck, you're going to kick me out. I also want to thank our board members who are here today. I see Matt Cullen here, Rushan Long. I saw David Merritt somewhere. But if you're a board member, I don't see you, raise your hand, and I want to thank you for all your support, too. And I saw someone here today. I didn't know was going to be here, but many years ago, there was a gentleman in our law department who had an idea about kind of tying these railways together and creating a greenway. And Jim Edwards retired from the city a few years ago, but he's here. And Jim Edwards, you need to deserve a big thanks to help putting all this together many years ago. So thank you. So with that said, I'd like to introduce the Chief of Staff to Warren Evans, Zainab Hussein. Thank you.
Thank you. So I used to work for Warren Evans, which is my former boss, whom I love very much, but I am currently the Chief of Staff for the city of Dearborn. So on behalf of Mayor Abdullah Hammoud, well, hello. So I know everybody must be very excited because it's super cold out here and everybody looks like they're very warm and excited to be here. So first of all, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this family. I look at all of you and I'm looking at every face and I know everyone has a different life experience and is here for one reason and one reason only, that we love this city, we love our neighbors, and we love to be one whole big family, because one thing that we know how to do is we know how to connect, we know how to communicate, and we know how to do really good things like this and bring people together. So with that being said, I would say if anybody and everybody who contributed to the design, to the work, the members of the Joe Louis Greenway, can you please stand up for a moment? Come on. I want to give you all the credit, because without you, without your vision, your commitment, I'm sure that this would never have been possible. And for the leadership in the city of Detroit, and of course the partnership over here in the city of Dearborn, because we are so excited to continue this work and ensure that our communities continue to work together collectively and bringing our community as one. We are excited for this, and we look forward to the continuation of this amazing project. To the Joe Louis Greenway family, to the Joe Louis family, thank you. Thank you for continuing to give and give and give, because it's because you give that we are able to do beautiful things like this. So with that being said, on behalf of the mayor, on behalf of the city of Dearborn, thank you, and I can't wait to go down that slide as well.
City of Dearborn, I meant to say that. Next, we're going to introduce Liana Medley, who's the executive director for the Joe Louis Greenway. We went through an exhaustive search to find the right executive director, and Liana landed at our laps one day and wowed us in her interview, and her great smile, and she's got amazing ideas, and I think she's going to be amazing in this role. Liana?
All right, well, I'm going to start and say, if you love Detroit, say, what up, Doe? That's right. Well, listen, thank you, everyone, for just coming out. And I have some words here, and I thought long and hard about that. And so I just really want to read my words. I normally don't do that, but I'm going to do that today because I want to make sure that I'm intentional about these ideas and these words and that we leave here inspired. So we are standing in this gateway that is truly something special here in Detroit. If you have been born or you've lived here, you understand that public space is really the linchpin of our society, of our community, a place where we not only create physical ties and physical connections, but social, emotional, and spiritual connections. We are at this gateway that is defined by community resilience, a group of residents who said, we will not be forgotten. Our children will remember our fight for our community. And today, we see that we are at the entrance of that fight. Today is not just about cutting a ribbon or a ceremony. It is about the community ties that bind us all. It's about the example that we set for the generations that follow and the example of the generations before Joe Louis. It's about more than concrete and signs. It's about hard work. It's about commitment. It is about sweat. It's about an amazing community who has fought for this city and continues to fight for this city. At the Joe Louis Greenway Partnership, it is our goal to be at the center of community engagement, to be a part of lifting up the voices and talking and engaging with residents to make sure that their vision for their community and public space is seen. It is our goal to ensure that outdoor space is inclusive and creates a space for belonging and togetherness. By creating spaces like this, we are not just laying pathways for just walking and biking. We're laying down pathways of opportunity. We are seeing a new era in our city. And it's important that we develop connections and lasting friendships. These things are not elusive to us. These are the things that we were raised on. A community that held each other accountable. A community that saw the child down the street and said, get to your mama. We are committed to our shared spaces. And so as we cut this ribbon today, as we celebrate Joe Louis, his legacy as a social justice fighter that he continues to have on our city, it's important that we pass that down to the young ones that are here so they know why this is called the Joe Louis Greenway. It's important that we represent unity in our communities. It's important that we understand our commitment and our accountability to each other, and that we truly, genuinely care about each other. So as I wrap up, congratulations to the Lions. And just understand that we are Detroit, that we are resilient, that we hustle hard, and that we will always lift up our voices for each other. Thank you. So it is my pleasure. You have heard this congratulations over and over again, but it is my pleasure to bring up Dave Egner from Ralph C. Wilson Foundation, Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation, to talk about their organization and their amazing commitment to Detroit and public spaces.
Thank you. Councilman Durhal, I understand what you mean when you say there are people you don't want to follow when you have to speak. I totally understand that. So wonderful. It's so great to be here. For those of you who don't know who Ralph Wilson was, he was a Detroiter, but he ended up owning the Buffalo Bills because he couldn't buy the Detroit Lions. And so he started an AFL team in Buffalo. And he believed that football united people, that sports united people. And what we've learned through our work in his honor with his legacy of giving is that trails and parks and public space do even a greater job of uniting and connecting people. So we are just thrilled to be a part of this. Young people, thank you for your patience, because if I were you, I would be clamoring to get over there and play, and I know you are. Look at you all nodding your head, right? Thank you for your patience. This is for you. All of this is for you. Thank all of you who are involved in designing, constructing, and connecting our communities in Detroit through this space and what will be 27.5 miles of connection that will move throughout this city. We're just thrilled to be a part of it.
All right, so I get to come back up, and I get to talk about a campaign that was launched, a collaboration between the city, the riverfront, and the Joe Louis Greenway partnership, the Unified Greenway campaign. Since we announced this campaign in May, this big vision for the Joe Louis Greenway, as well as for the Detroit riverfront as a connected system, has inspired so much amazing interest and continued momentum for our campaign. We are ever grateful for the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation support of this incredible trailhead. And we look forward to sharing more good news in the future about these efforts to create more connection and to continue to build the Joe Louis Greenway out in all of the neighborhoods to come. So next, I want to bring up a few speakers that are going to come up and talk about the community, the residents who've lived here. When I took over this position in April of this year, one of the first things that happened was this kind of blessing ceremony, I call it, where I got together with a lot of the community leaders, and I had to go through a bit of a question and answer so that they understood that my commitment to this city runs deep. I say that within my blood is the soil of Detroit. And these leaders understood what I said when I meant that. And so Equity Alliance is a community space, a community partner that has been, that's right. If you know, you know. And Deanna and Carlton have been a mainstay in the Midwest retirement community. One of the most critical pieces about community gathering is a space, a safe space where you can go. And they have opened their doors to community, to neighborhood groups, so that they can come in and gather, and they can galvanize themselves around this project. And so it's so important to understand that there are places in our community that are privately funded, but that open their doors every day. And so Deanna Stewart from Equity Alliance, I bring you up, and we thank you for all of your support of the Greenway and the community.
Hello. So they called me and said, hey, we want you to speak at the ribbon cutting. And I said, who? I said, I don't do public speaking. I'm in the weeds. I'm making it happen behind the scene. And so Leanna said, oh, yeah, I put your name in. Thank you. So I'm going to read what I wrote. So today I stand before you as an entrepreneur who has invested their own money into the vibrant Midwest community, a place that holds endless potentials and opportunities. One of the greatest assets we have in our community is the Joe Louis Greenway, a shining example of what happens when we invest in public spaces and invest in our people. The Joe Louis Greenway is a space that winds through the community, has not only transformed the landscape for the Midwest, but has also created new avenues for local businesses. For me, as an entrepreneur, the Greenway is more than just a park. It's a symbol of growth, potential, and the positive change that can happen when we come together and act as one. As we all know, small businesses are the backbone of our economy. They create jobs and they spur innovation. The Joe Louis Greenway, with its beautiful path, inviting green space, and public amenities, attract residents and visitors alike, providing us entrepreneurs with golden opportunities to serve our community while also growing our business. When I first decided to invest my money into the Midwest community, I did so with the belief that this area had potential. I saw the potential, and I had the opportunity to meet some community members that just kind of opened their arms to me and said, let's do this. The benefit of the Greenway does extend beyond this economic. It's a place where the community members can come together and connect with each other and build a strong, more united neighborhood. So I'm going to go off script and just say I'd like to call up your next speaker, but I'd like them to stand up here with me when I finish what I have to say. Rushan, Sherry, Red. So Equity Alliance is a community center deep in the middle of the Midwest. And when we first started, it was an empty building. And these ladies here, when I started talking about what we were going to do, they were like, okay, let's do it. I said, well, there's so many things that we got to do. They was like, they actually said, we got the mayor's number, let's just call him. I said, well, let's first figure out what we need to do and see if we can do it on our own first. And today we stand in a building that's beautiful where our community connect for public and private meetings. If you get a chance, it's at 6602 Walton. We'd love for you to come by and see it. The mayor walked it last Thursday. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Rushan.
Thanks, Deanna. I'd like to call up one other person, Kenny. Kenny. As you know, they done said my name about 1,000 times, so maybe I should run for office. I heard the last time the mayor said she sounds just like a politician. But we really do care. We care not only about the Joe Louis Greenway, we were caring before the Joe Louis Greenway came about. It was 5 of us. Once the city sent me to Atlanta, because I had no idea what a Greenway was, and I had to thank Nympha Campbell. She was our last previous district manager. She asked me, do you want to be on this? I said, sure. I'm retired. Didn't know what I was getting into. But when they sent us to Atlanta and we saw the Atlanta Beltway, I knew what this could do for our city. So I called back before I got back. I said, Kenny, we got to get this going. All of us grew up in this neighborhood. Kenny on both sides of the track. I've been here since I was 9. I'm 70. And we decided to stay in our parents' home because they worked hard. People in Detroit worked hard. It didn't matter what your race was. Everybody came here to work at that Big 3. And they bought these homes and struggled. So we decided to stay in these communities and make it viable. So what we did, we came together and created a nonprofit, the Greenway Heritage Conservancy. And so we have worked together along with the city, and I can't call all the names because Brad and everybody else did already, but Christina and Hanan, I am one of the aunties, and we thank you so much. So we continue to work here. Like the mayor said, you would not have believed what this space looked like. So I'm going to say, Leona, you stole my what up, doe, and the Lions reference, but it's all right because I can pivot a little bit. So what I'm going to say is, the mayor do have a program, From Blight to Better. If you saw what this looked like, this is a prime example from blight to better. But the city can't do it on its own. We got to step up. We got to be here. You can change your own community. If the four of us, well, it was five, Kathy is not here, Kathy Green. If the five of us can cause an uproar enough in a positive way to get people to come out and do better in your own community, then you will have the support of the city. That's how you work it. You got to work together. We now are right here at the border of Dearborn. We are now in this community seeing a big influx of immigrants. And it's not just Hispanic, it's not just Mexican. We got to get away from that. We have Middle Eastern people who come from all countries over there. We have Hispanic people that's coming from all countries. I have Hispanic neighbors. And now this is just the beginning. It is not the end. It's the beginning of what we're going to do to activate Warren Avenue, Tireman, Joy Road, Chicago, and every other community that this Greenway goes through. So get prepared, get ready, and so we got to get y'all to get up and get involved. I thank y'all, and I thank the mayor, I thank the city council, I thank everybody. I definitely thank the Ralph C. Wilson Foundation and everybody else that's involved. Thank you for this opportunity. We just love Detroit, and we love you, and we love our city.
And we love Rushan. I don't know, Rushan. You may have to run for office one of these days. Next, I'm going to bring up a member of the Barrow family. I also want to thank, I just saw Megan. Are you still here? Megan Elliott. Where'd Megan go? She helped put the financing together for this. She was here. Oh, she's back there eating a taco, I think. She came off maternity leave today to be here. So, Megan, thank you. And your new baby girl. I also would acknowledge, this work doesn't get done by itself. Someone has to design it, put it together. One of our team members, William McCarley, passed away last year, sadly. His parents are here today. And Mr. and Mrs. McCarley, I saw them earlier, but I just want to acknowledge them being here and look at this beautiful thing your son did. So finally, I'd like to bring up the daughter of Joe Louis, Joyce Barrow, who is an amazing young lady. And for those of us over 40, we know who Howard Cosell is. But Howard Cosell bounced baby Joyce on his knee. So Joyce, here you go.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. I got an audience. Good afternoon. I was not smart enough to print out what I want to say, and my eyes are betraying me. This morning I was having breakfast with my brother, and there was a sign on the door that said, a quote from my dad that said, "Champions are recognized in the ring, but it is when what they do every single day is what makes a champion." That's what all of you are. Every last one of you. Mayor, city council, ladies. I would love to have 47 aunties and 24 mamas. That is what a champion really is. Yes, greenways connect people. Yes, sports connects people, but people connect people. And those are champions. What a great example that you guys are setting for the kids in the community. Remember that this is what it looks like to be a champion to the next generation of entrepreneurs, to the next generation of mayors and council people. This is your space, and we are honored beyond measure that this is the way that the city has chosen to remember my father's legacy. Truly was a great champion. There will never again in history be another Joe Louis. And I say that in my unbiased opinion. But truly, he would have been humbled and honored to be preserved and remembered in this way, because beyond the ring, he loved his community. He loved people. He loved being a father. We are beyond humbled. I know he's here today, kind of hanging out with us. smiling, and I wish that you could see my heart, because thank you is really not how I feel. But when we all make it to heaven, you will know. So thank you so much. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. If you guys get a chance to talk to Joyce or her siblings that are here, Joyce is really an amazing person, and I wish her daughter was here today. I would love talking to your daughter as well too. So, well, with that said, I think we're going to cut the ribbon now, and then the kids are dying to go back and play on that slide, and Councilmember Santiago Romero is going to go down the slide. You're the first one down, right? I heard. So let's go and cut this ribbon, guys, and inaugurate this place.